Business Takeout presents The Takeout Effect with Banki. The Takeout Effect brings real conversations in business.
Welcome to The Takeout Effect. The Takeout Effect brings real conversations in business. I'm your host, and my name is Banki. The Takeout Effect is brought to you by Business Takeout. Business Takeout is a nonprofit. It is a social enterprise that provides business resources, business education to Black entrepreneurs. And today's guest is a songwriter, a producer, and a singer. His name is Mykell Messiah. Mykell, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. My pleasure.
All right. So we have Mykell here with us today. We're going to really dive into it. We're going to get to know all about him. We're going to get to know about business tips. We're going to get to know about being a father in the music industry. We're going to get to know about, what he's doing currently. Also, collaborations. There's so much, his journey. There's so much that we want to talk about. But right before we dive right into it, we're going to get a message from our sponsor. Our sponsor is Banki Designs. Banki Designs is a creative branding and design firm based out of the Toronto area. Banki Designs is sponsoring today's episode. My producer, play a message from our sponsor. Thank you. Mykell.
That was amazing.
I know, right?
I want to work with Banki Designs now.
So I've known you for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
As long as I can remember, you've always been singing. Not only you, your mom, your brother, your brothers, your sister, whatnot, your whole family. I've always known you to be, singing in the church. How did your journey start? How did you realize that this is something you enjoy doing?
Before I could even know it, it was something I enjoyed doing, and I was just doing it. My mom is my mom is a singer, a great singer, and so she'd always be in the house and kind of just getting us involved in singing and with church and everything. When you're in church, you always have those hymns that you would go out singing, and so it was just a thing that it became like second nature. So before I even realized I definitely enjoyed it, I was singing. As a young child, my mom would always, on Saturdays take us, in the living room and, teach us to sing, teach us to song. And I say like when those times came, I didn't even realize it was something that I would enjoy. It was kind of tedious learning a new song all the time, and the youngest one would be running around, and I'd be distracted, and my mom would always be frustrated, but we stuck to it and kept us going in it. And we'd sing like every Saturday night. Back then churches used to have like conventions and different things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so we'd like the next convention that was going up, my mom would bring us and we'd be singing. Yeah, so from a really young age.
So how young? If you can go back to your earliest age? I mean, I've just known you forever to be doing that, but how long would you say that would be?
For as long as I can remember, probably my sister is younger than me, so uh, I think for me, I remember the exact time actually. I don't remember the age per se, but I remember my mom would always sing this song, and I started singing it, and I was like, wow, I think I'm on note. I kind of sound like my mom. And I
Mm-hmm.
went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, like, listen to this. And she was like, wow, you sound good. And but we never really started singing in churches until my sister was at an age. And my sister started at around like 4 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so around four, between 4 and 10 years old, um, all four of us we were singing. So together as a family, my mom would sing the lead and we'd back her up, and
Yes.
it was part of our life. Every Saturday we'd be singing somewhere. Every Sunday we'd be singing in church.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I played the drums also, and then my brother learned the bass. My other
Yes.
brother learned the piano, and we were just that was what we did every Sunday and Saturday. So um, yeah, as long as I can remember, I've been
I remember those days, the church choir days. I
yeah,
was at a time.
you were you were doing your thing. I remember that.
I know what I was doing.
Yeah, my mom was like she was militant with it. She wanted to make sure
Yes.
everybody knew about God and not just know about God, but participate. You know, that was very important to her that everyone that she encountered knew that they could also be a part of the experience of worshiping God and having their own personal relationship with God. So singing is part of it. I feel like singing has every musical expression has its own spirit and its own vibe that goes along with it. And so when you're singing about God, you're kind of interacting with that spirit, spiritual experience. And
Yes.
so yeah, and so she really wanted every single person to really experience to have their own personal experience. So if whether you could sing or not, she's singing in the choir.
I was in there.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was doing though.
Listen, she was militant with it. Like she thought she could teach anybody, and
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 she was correct. I feel like singing in general, like I don't know if I'm going off topic, but singing in general is all about being able to display or interpret an emotion, right? So
I agree.
generally, yeah. So generally, you don't have to be the greatest singer, but if I could sing about being sad and you can get that, then I've done my part as a singer. You understand songs about being sad, and I'm able to express that emotion, and so the song can still have its effect. Right?
You kind of dabble into my next question a little bit, but I'm just going to ask it just to see if there's anything I haven't covered. For
Mm-hmm.
those who are watching who may not know you, your mom's a pastor. I'm not sure if she still is a pastor, but she was a pastor when I was growing up.
Yes, yes, it was.
Um, how has Christianity, being your mom being a pastor, being raised in the church, how have that helped you be more in line with your passion for singing?
that's where it all started. So, and my belief system is everything I do is it has the foundation of the church, you know. And I'm not so like as I got older, I'm not as religious per se as far as the customs and the rituals, etc. But I think with that faith of Christianity, I've become more spiritual. So I kind of understood more my relationship with God and
Nice.
who God is in my life. And I'm not perfect, but He is perfect. And
Hmm.
so there's a song that I play on repeat right now, and it says, you know, I can't let you down because you never really, you know, needed me to keep you up. You know what I mean? So God understands my imperfections and my limitations, and so um, I can be who I am and continue to uh, strive to be better every day. And God still loves me, and I'm learning about Him every day as I learn about myself in that walk. And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, in that evolution of my belief system, I understand that we all have our own gospels, our own stories
That's
of
true.
how we live our lives and how God is a part of that, you know. And as long as we believe that He is who He says He is,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then you know we will always be drawn closer to Him and understand Him more as we understand ourselves more. You know, in life sometimes you go through things and you don't really understand. You know, we look at people doing their own thing and we go, "Man, I would never do that." But
Never say never.
yeah, but you've never been in that person's situation. You don't know why they're acting the way they're acting, or what has drawn them to that emotion or that expression of emotion. You know, whether
Yeah.
it is anger or frustration or tears or laughter. You know, so I've realized that in life sometimes I gotta worry about myself, try and get better every day, and
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm learning of myself every day. You know,
Yeah.
as I learn more about God. So maybe that's a long-winded answer, but that's how it's kind of developed and shaped my own musical career. Like I grew up, a very strict household and very strict traditions, and even expressing like love was taboo. Like, oh, you're singing songs about love, you know. But as I get older, it's like God is love. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
So me expressing the way I feel for somebody, or expressing that emotion or feeling, is being closer to God, because
So
that's, yeah.
you just dabbled on the next question that I was going to get into, ironically. Um,
Okay.
how was it for you to was it difficult at all for you to transition from gospel to R&B? Um,
Um, well, I'll say this. Like my mom, you know, is like the backbone of everything I do, and most of my
yeah.
belief systems. And as I got older, I read the Bible for myself and did my own studying. But I always get these questions from Christians asking that question. And I feel like I said, we all have. This is my perspective, and it might be
Mhm.
controversial, maybe not, or but I feel like we all have our own gospel, right?
Yeah.
So we all have our own experience in our own life. Like me falling in love with somebody is my story, you know, and so I'm just telling my story. And I feel like as an artist, if you're a part of the creative process, right? Writing and so forth, you're putting your own perspective on things. You're just telling your story. Me telling a story of how I got my heart broken, is that straying away from God, or am I living life with God, hopefully as the compass to my life, and expressing my experiences while going through that? You know what I mean? And that's what I want to more lean towards, that belief of, as I'm telling my story, you know, I'm a person who wants to get closer to God and to that, and to better myself every day. And along that journey, I'm going through experiences that shape me and develop ultimately the person that I'm going to become. So I think that R&B per se, rhythm and blues, or if there's a definition of it, I don't really think that it has to be they have to somehow be separated. It's just my story. So on one end I'm gonna sing about love lost or love found, and on another end I might sing about knowing who God is and the power of prayer. You know, that doesn't have to necessarily be synonymous. It can be one and the same. You know what I mean? So, or separated. Sorry, it can be one and the same. Uh, you know, I'm getting closer to God while I'm falling in love with this beautiful young lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm understanding what love truly is, because I never thought I could fall in love this deeply. And if I can fall in love this deeply, how much more does God love me? That despite everything that I'm going through, He still cares about me. The mistakes that I've made, He still, you know, um, for showing mercy on me. Yeah.
And just basically singing about these specific topics
Mhm.
is a lot of people can relate to it because it's what they're going through in many aspects of their lives, but it's not something that they're discussing openly with others, but they're experiencing it, you
Yeah.
know?
Even the most stringent, strict Christian per se, or whatever belief system you have, whether you're Muslim or Christian, or Jew or Buddhist or whatever, you still have the human experience, you know.
Yeah,
And so you're still getting your heart broken, even though you're believing in Buddha, you know.
that's
You're
true.
still you're still falling in love, even though you believe in whatever it is you believe in. So these are still human experiences, and something that everybody can kind of find common ground on. So you know, the Bible says this one thing where it says there's a time for everything. You know, there's a time to love, there's a time to cry, there's a time to, and it goes on, etc. And I think like in our experiences, there's different moments in time where different expressions can kind of relate to that particular time period in our lives. So, but it's all together for me. So my mom always says like, you're singing love songs, I wish you could sing, songs of Zion, so to speak. And I'm like, listen, I've never stopped, and I haven't stopped. It's just another expression of my life, you know. As a believer, I do believe that there's a God. I'm not an atheist, you know.
Exactly.
Um, but in that belief of God, I'm also going through life experiences, and so I'm just speaking about an aspect of my life at this time, you know. And it might fit in the next song,
Okay.
So yeah, it's just that, it's just being just being able to express yourself in different ways.
Amazing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So your journey, your passion has brought you over to being the president of a record label, is it?
Yeah,
More, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, right?
more, more jelly musicals.
More Jelly Music Group. How long has that company been around?
Been around for years. They usually the founder is a friend of mine. I'll call him Mr. Morgelli just because I respect him. Uh, as a very astute, smart, inclusive, record um, CEO. Very smart individual. He has great instincts, and he usually works with one artist at a time in a management label, um, all-encompassing um, company. But as he sees where the market is going, he wanted to kind of expand his roster and get more people involved to kind of build something. And so we reconnected after a few years, and we kind of found some really talented artists. We have this young a rapper by the name of SEO Swampy, really
Mm-hmm.
talented. I feel like he's a star, and he has, he's super talented and really raw, but super talented. We have another rapper by the name of Black Milo, um, who's a star also. I mean, I might be partial, but I do believe in these artists, and I'm always doing music because that's just my creative expression. And so the CEO, Mr. Morgelli, decided that he wanted to release some of my records that I did also. Um, Josh Miller and SEO Swampy kind of blazed the trail, or laid the foundation, and they're
Mm-hmm.
continuing to grow and really expand their fan base and develop musically. They released some things. There's a single by Flash Miller called Medusa, that has just been released not too long ago, and they're going to release another single, I believe, tomorrow called "Moving Up Together." So everyone look out for that. And you can see from the older records to where they're going now, there's a development, there's a constant uh, rise in their capabilities and their confidence, and they're just getting better and better. And I really do believe in those individuals, and so it's a very exciting time. We have this, as well as Mr. Mykell, we have a really strong team. We have a young lady by the name of Missy, we call her Missy, sorry, super talented um, young lady. Also, there's Oriya, and we have this really talented young man by the name of Felix. He's also involved in the company. And we collaborate with very creative people, um, like photographers, etc., web developers. There's Rohan, who we do work with quite often, super talented photographer. And we've been working a lot with these directors, young directors that are really on the cusp, creatively, by the name of Lighter Juice, that we're doing most of our video production with right now. We've also worked with um, HDLK Productions, also super talented videographers also.
Okay.
But recently we've been working with Lighter Juice. They're based out of London, Ontario, and they're really, really, really talented, and they have a good eye and perspective on what's happening now and visually. So we're excited about that also, and we're willing to work with anybody who can kind of get the job done. you know, somebody is super particular on what he wants, and he wants the best. And so yeah, and he has a good eye for talent. So we've been lucky that way. We're constantly moving towards our goal of where we want to be.
So, quick question. Okay? So, someone, don't worry, one of my nails are done, the other one isn't. We'll work with it. Someone, okay, let's say someone who's incredibly talented has the ability to put their own self out there with the power of social media, or join a record label company like yours, right? Where you have a lot of artists underneath your belt that you work with. What would be the benefit of being part of your team?
So there's always this debate on whether someone should be independent or sign with a major, and there's pros and cons to everything, but it all depends on the person's individuality and how they're able to create content, how they're able to be self-contained, and their access to capital. So back in the day, there was a few labels, and they had a lot of capital, and they had also access to the mediums and the avenues where an artist can be um, revealed to the world, so to speak, and then promoted and marketed. And um, now with all the streaming sites, Spotify, also Apple Music, and Tidal, etc., a lot of people can kind of press record on their phone,
Yeah.
go, find a distributor, which is all over now, and put it on. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere, and so they have distribution throughout the world. You know what I mean?
Do you think someone, and this is the question I'm about to ask you is based on my lack of knowledge, right? Do you think that when someone puts their song out there, with their music out there, without having a record company to back them up, do you think that it exposed them to someone thieving their song and copywriting it?
Once it's out there, it's like kind of time stamped, and it is time stamped, and sort of poor man copyrighted. This is a term for, like, there's a timestamp, there's It's something that you can always go back on. This is the date it was quote unquote created.
Got it.
There's different ways of doing it too. Like I was talking to someone the other day, and they gave me an idea where what they used to do back in days too is they'd email a song. So when you email it, has a timestamp to see when it was emailed, so it was created at
That's
this
true.
time, etc. But you can never stop anybody from taking your stuff. Like, people take people's things all the time, but
Yeah,
yeah, and it's up to you whether you want to go through the litigation and the judicial process and kind of fight for your intellectual property, right?
I
Um,
often have like conversations with people I know, and those conversations are usually like, "Oh, this person stole my idea." I may have mentioned my idea to a friend who I thought was a friend, and they stole my idea. And I always look at that particular scenario as something I would welcome, because once someone steals your idea, they're gonna go and they're gonna probably do it not the way that you envisioned it in yourself, right?
mhm.
Another thing is that they might take your idea and they might encounter a lot of challenges trying to deliver that idea to reality. And you just take notes of what their problems are and you find the solutions and then you just
Yeah, yeah.
do it
I
over.
mean, for sure. So there's pros and cons to every scenario per se, but there's a reason why people apply for patents, right? There's a
Yeah,
reason so that they can somehow profit off whatever development is made from their particular idea, right? So, sure, you want people to like, maybe they have the money, so they put the money in the capital and they develop it, something that you couldn't do. But it's very important, I believe, to kind of get a patent, registered or something to somehow profit off the idea that you came forward. With that being said, like I said, people steal ideas all the time. People
that's
steal
true.
songs. They steal jokes. Comedians steal jokes. So there's, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Obviously within context. There's always new ideas and innovation and technology, etc. Um, but uh, it's very important that once you do develop something and you want to share it with somebody, is to have some kind of timestamp as far as when it was made, when you had the idea. So if you do decide to go through litigation, you can always refer back to, hey, look, this is when I made this. Like I emailed it at in 2021, of August, and this guy came out with the song 2022 of January. I obviously had this before this person, and this is the communication that I had with this person, which contributed to their development of said product, etc. So I think it is important to team up with people and to share ideas, but no, you should always protect yourself. As
Yeah.
far as like have proof.
So what would you be if you didn't follow your passion? What do you think you'd be doing right now?
Um, well, what would I be doing right now if I didn't follow my passion? I've always been doing music. Right? I mean, I've had I've had jobs, um, many different industries here and there. But I try to keep it on the creative. Like I've done acting.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm a singer. I've also I do landscaping and gardening. Which is
Okay.
kind of creative. In its own right. Um, but I've never had a life where I wasn't singing. I mean, like I said, from the minute I could talk, I was pretty much singing because my
Yeah.
mom, my whole family, like my brother, he goes by Paul or P. McKay, I believe, one voice. Just look up Paul McKay, one voice. He's
Yeah.
a great vocal uh, instructor. He's the
Yes,
best,
he is. I
and
see him on his Instagram live where he's actually teaching
yeah,
others how to get their notes correctly.
he has his own curriculum and his own way of teaching. It is phenomenal. Paul McKay, one voice. He is unbelievable. Um, you know, and there's my sister who's a great singer, Lita McKay, and my brother Mark McKay, who's a great producer and just a creative mind in general. Um, so and it's all thanks to my mom, who, like I said, every Saturday when we were kids, taught us how to sing, and this is who we are. Even if I don't make any money from music, I'll always be doing music, because that's
Yeah.
just who I am. So I can't really envision a time where I wouldn't be doing some kind of creative expression, especially through the musical medium. Um, I've always played sports too. I played baseball for most of my life. I went to college for baseball, and um, so it'd probably be, if anything, in athletics. Cause, like, I'm super competitive. I play football, basketball, baseball. I'm trying to stay in shape as much as I can. But yeah, it would probably be through athletics, but I'd still be singing, because that's the first thing that we did as kids. Is just,
Okay.
and yeah, so that's pretty much what I'd be doing. Also, can I just shout out the photographer Bethlehem Photography? That's great photographer also. Um, uh, Super talented, great eye. Uh, I've worked with him many times. He's fantastic. I have, you know, I've 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 gone through different stages in my life with different experiences, and I recently got engaged to a beautiful young lady um, who has really helped and encouraged me to be more creative musically, and
Nice.
giving me that support. I think they say behind every strong man there's a stronger woman. I think they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm better for meeting her, and being able to feel more free in my artistic expression. You know,
Yes.
I mean, you can't think about love unless you know what love is, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. And so I think it's just enhanced my creativity.
Great. While we're on that topic, we're going to dabble into family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have two boys, right?
Two generals.
Yes, generals. Um,
Yeah,
they kind of, in a sense, followed your footsteps, I would say.
yeah, definitely.
Knowing you growing up in the singing industry, well, singing, not in the singing industry, not yet at that time, but you've always
Yeah.
followed your passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to a song called Blessed. I'm Blessed
Yeah, yeah.
by the
I
McKay boys.
Yeah, by the Muslim boys. I'm so amped. Like, this really, like, you know, this is what I'm excited about my stuff. Like, about my two boys. They're super talented. When they did that record, they were 4 and 7 years old,
Nice.
and it was last year during COVID, and you know, my eldest, who was 7 at the time, was like, "Daddy, I want to record like you." So I'm like, "Okay, fine. Let's see let's record some sounds or whatever and some music, kind of just to get their feet wet. And while he was like recording, I was like, okay, he's taking instructions pretty good. My youngest walked in and goes, I want to record too, like 4 years old, right?
Hmm.
And he took direction very well, and both of them just kind of have that chemistry. And the Bible says, train up a child in the way you want them to go, so when they grow older, they do not depart. And I just feel like, through, one thing about kids is that they they learn through verbal communication, but they pick up a lot of stuff non-verbally, like just your mannerisms, the things you do. That's when they're really watching, in my opinion. And sometimes I see my kids do something and go, "Wait a minute, I do that." Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, even the bad stuff, like maybe my frustrations or whatever, like even acting out those the mannerisms, and they really put the music, so they see me, doing music. My family does music, and when they're around us, they really are kind of. I remember this a small story. Like, I remember my youngest, like, he heard us singing, and he was just like, his eyes were just like, wow, and he's like, you guys sing? Like, just the way he said that, he's like,
Mhm.
you guys sing? He was really young. And it was just like, yeah, this is what we do. And he's like, I want to be a singer. I'm a singer. And he'll tell people right now when he introduces himself, you know, I don't want to like skip over this part though. From that moment to like recording the record, Bless,
Mhm.
second song we ever did. The first song was called I Love My Daddy.
Nice.
And yeah, and it's just about, it's pretty much self-explanatory. I Love My Daddy. And you can check them out. If anybody's, all the people that's on this stream, they're called the McKay Boys. The songs are Blessed and I Love My Daddy. And it's just, every time I listen, I'm like, wow, like 4 and 7 years old, they have records out. Saying this is amazing. Anyway, so I Love My Daddy was the first record, and it was done like last year around Father's Day, where they wanted to sing a song about how much they love their daddy. Which, hey, I'm on this for. And so we just worked this song out, and I sang the hook, and we just kind of, it's really interesting, working with kids because I don't want to push them too much,
Mhm.
because so their attention span is only so long, you know. So it took us like probably 4 days to finish the song because for like 15 minutes they're super engaged. They're like, yeah, yeah, and then afterwards they're like, I want to play a game. I don't want to record anymore. I want to go outside. So it's like, and I don't want to be like, no, you're gonna record. You're not going nowhere. You know what I mean? Because then it'll just be like, okay, this is not a fun thing. This is daddy's forcing me to do it. Um,
Yes,
but
it
yeah,
got to be fun for them.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So just whenever they felt like it, like let's finish the song, and I'd play it and they'd hear it and they go, let's finish it. So, but yeah, I'm super proud of them. Also, my niece.
Mhm.
So this is the McKay family. I mean, I'm kind of, I was saying, I'm just really proud of my niece. She just got nominated for 2 Emmys.
Nice.
2 Emmys. She does a lot of acting, a lot of
Mhm.
shows. And so she has her own show. So she's the star of the show, the animated show where she does the voice. And
Nice.
she just got nominated for 2 Emmys. So, you know, we started as kids singing. Um, Now my sons are recording, and my niece has been nominated for 2 Emmys. So it's kind of like all passing down, and the kids are following our lead. And there's a lot more for me to do, and for my brother and my sister, but it's good to see the younger generation kind of watching and having their expression of artistic um, you know content.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is two questions before we get to the game.
Yeah.
In terms of business, what is one thing you wish you knew before getting into the business aspect of the music industry?
One thing that I wish I knew. One thing that I wish I knew. There's a lot of things that I wish I knew. To be honest, but if I want to pinpoint one thing that I wish I knew, I think the importance of relationships and
The
how
importance of
relationships.
relationships, perfect. So that
Yeah,
has a lot to do with building relationships in the industry, collaborations with others in different aspects that can help you put your production together. Okay, amazing.
but
Um,
really in any industry, really, it's all about who you know. That's not just a cliche.
that's
That's
true.
actually for real. You know, when you're down, you can call someone and go, look, man, like I have this idea and I need some help. And if you have a good relationship, they can help you out in any business, really. Like
That's true.
Donald Trump went bankrupt so many times, but because he had so many investors and people who invested in him, he was able to always get out of those situations. And so in any walk of life, the way you treat people, always treat people with respect,
Yes.
the way someone's card, you know, that's important too. I mean, they don't do cards now, but always one's contact info to where you can kind of communicate and touch base.
Is there any type of tips you would give anyone for business? If anyone who has a passion that they want to monetize, or they want to follow that passion that leads to their, what they do for real. um, what
Well,
type of tips would you give?
in anything that you do, but especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting something, um, this sounds going to sound super cliche, and I know everybody says it, and but I truly believe that it's key to believe in yourself. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't convince anybody to get on board with what you're doing,
That's
no
true.
matter what it is. You've got to see it before you see it, also. So you've got to see the future so that you know what you're looking for. You know, I have a mentor who would always tell me, um, if you don't see it before you see it, when you see it, you won't see it. You
That's
won't see your opportunity if you don't know what opportunity you think you deserve, or that you're building towards. There's no such thing as luck. It's preparation meets opportunity. So,
that is so true.
for sure.
Right now, we're about to play a game. The game is called Business Confessions. I will give you a scenario. You will tell a story based on the scenario that I provide to you. And you tell me whether or not you tell me a story based on what I tell you. And then I will guess whether or not it's the truth, or if you're telling a lie, or if it's a confession. It's called Business Confession, and it starts right now.
Man, I love these segues.
I know, right? We just started. This game is fairly new. I think it's like 3 episodes in that we've been starting with this game.
Okay.
Tell me about a time where you had to go above and beyond for someone that you wanted to collaborate with um, for your business.
Okay. I went above and beyond the credit. There was a time when I wanted this artist. He was out of town. I wanted him to do a record for me, and I had to um, bring the record to him because he didn't have an email address. So I had to put it on a hard drive and bring it to him. At this time, my car had broken down, and he was actually in Aurora, and I lived downtown. And I wanted the song to be out by the end of the week, and so I think in Aurora, from downtown to Aurora. So I had to borrow someone's bike, and I biked all the way up to Aurora with the song on a hard drive, and I brought it to him, put it in his computer, and yeah, he recorded. But it took about 5 hour bike ride. But at the end of the day, it was worth it. Song came out. So we wanted to.
What year is this?
This was actually like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But
Okay. I live in New Market, so we
mhm.
haven't really spoken a while. So I live in New Market, which is right next door to Aurora.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
I'm trying to picture drive biking from downtown
Yeah,
to
and it
Aurora.
wasn't it wasn't like a deal. It wasn't like a mountain bike or anything. It was like one of those like one gear bikes, and
Mhm.
so it wasn't like different gears where like you have a 10 speed, 20 speed, and all this stuff. It was one gear. It was like one of those like kind of stunt bikes, like those old school BMX bikes. But that was the only thing like I had available to me. So I had two legs, and I'm pretty good shape. I just hopped on the gardener, and I rode my bike all the way up. could imagine, right? Just,
Yes, definitely.
anything for the song, anything for the song. That's, you know, I do what it takes.
We have some comments. It looks like we have a comment.
Yeah.
I made it. Big things, blessings to both of you. Marsha, aka Miss P. Oh yes, I know who that is.
Yeah, high school with that.
Yes.
Mm.
So okay. I don't know. This is tricky. You know why? Part of me is telling me that it's a lie because I'm finding it hard to go on the Gardner with a bike to go all the way to Aurora, right?
But there's actually
But then you're so detailed with the type of bike it was, and then I know that you are very committed. I don't know that thing, but and that's the perception I have that you're very committed. So I would say it's a confession.
You're absolutely wrong. Come on, in the Gardner. Imagine though. Yeah.
That's my point.
That'd be up like the Gardner, like 404. I mean, listen, maybe. But
all right.
they have to wait. That collaboration have to wait.
For anyone that's watching from the other places in the world, because this is shown all over, the Gardner is the highway, and he's talking about like, on the bike. It's just yeah, it's kind of I don't know what I was thinking. So, what is next for Mykell Messiah?
Yeah, well, I just saw a video yesterday.
Yes, show me.
Yeah.
It comes out on the 23rd. Tell us all about it. Tell us what it's about and how can we get a hold of it.
Well, it's a song that I co-wrote with this unbelievable writer and artist, Christian John out of he's in Vancouver right now, but he's super talented. Co-wrote it with him. It's a song about a lot of sometimes your relationships and sometimes this is not I won't say a lot of times, but females want you to read their mind. They don't want to tell you what's wrong. They want to just be, come around you moody, and you're just like, what's going on with you? Like, tell me what's wrong. And the song is, showing me, tell me what's wrong, so I can make you feel right. And it's like, as men, a lot of times we're problem solvers, right? So we just want to know what the issue is, and we're gonna take care of it. So what's wrong? Tell me, show me, like what's going on, and I'm gonna try my best to rectify the situation. So that's basically what the song is about. Just reassuring a girl that listen, the world's crazy right now. I get it, all the stuff that's going on. But you need to let me know what's bothering you, and here I'll be a shoulder you can lean on. Um, you stood by me through so many issues, so many things, relationships have its ups and downs. So relationships has their ups and downs. So you stood by me, you've been there for me. Now let me take care of your issues. Just tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay.
yes, that's basically what the song is. It's just like, tell me what's wrong, baby, show me, so I can make it feel right. So that's the song.
I would join you, but my voice ain't doing it like that.
Yeah, that's the song right there. Just saying, like, listen, I think every girl, people in general, but a lot of girls would just want to hear that, show me, tell me what's wrong. Like those words, just like, hey, you're paying attention.
Yeah. And I think that's really important in relationships, the ability to communicate, and yeah, as much as I would like, the partner to be
Intuitive.
telepathic,
Yeah, intuitive.
to read my mind.
I think this is, I don't know if this is a common thing with all females. I don't want to generalize, but a lot of times the females just like, why do I have to tell you? Like, because I'm not psychic. That's it. Like, tell me what's going on, like, so I can take care of the situation. You know.
Yeah, and that's important, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and it's about trust, right? And like you said, communication. Like, um, you know, I'm just kind of reassuring the girl, like, look, tell me you love me, you know. I'll do anything. I have a line in the song where it says, I'm willing to burn everything I own just to keep you warm, you know.
Nice. That's deep.
So yeah, so it's just like kind of reassuring her, like, you can be vulnerable to me, like you can trust me. I do whatever it takes to make sure that you're in a good place. So just show me, tell me what's wrong, you know. So and that's the song. Listen, y'all need to go on my Instagram, Mykell Messiah. There's a link and pre-save, you know, and share with all your friends and share it on Instagram and all the social media and social platforms. I think it's gonna be. I like the record a lot. And you just see the video with Lighter Juice, and they did an amazing job with. And I did a video with this beautiful, talented actress. Her name is Shauna Morgan.
Mhm.
She's talented. Made the situation and the whole like set and everything real comfortable, you know, as a professional work. And I think you guys are gonna like the video, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. So, how can everyone get in contact with you? I know you kind of already mentioned it, but let's just have again.
Yeah, you can hit me on Instagram. That's my main social platform that I'm on. It's only Mykell Messiah, MYKELLMESSIA. Mykell Messiah.
Perfect.
The second one, not the first one, no, that graphic there. That was the female Mykell, I think, with the E at the L. But yeah, so just Mykell Messiah. You can hit me there, and yeah, let's talk. Like, let's communicate, let's interact. And I appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate this particular platform for having me on and to kind of share with you what I'm doing and what I'm up to.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us today. It was a great conversation. For everyone who is watching right now, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, just thank you for joining us. And it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna end the show, but we love you, Mykell. It's Mika. Amazing.
Yeah, that's she's amazing.
Love it. Is there any more I think that was the second comment. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, have yourself a great day. And for everyone, thank you for tuning in, and join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. on Business Takeout.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com/donate.